So when I go to a country, first day I warm up, I shoot some arrows, I go 30 meters, I shoot 2 bird up, and I want to see this. But sometimes it's not there, or it's here. Okay, so now I know something has changed. So I spend 10, 15 minutes to make a little adjustment to make it here, what I wanted. Okay? It's happened every 2-3 competitions, happened once. Why? Could be the humidity, could be that something has moved, that the screws in the plane get a bit loosened, so I fix all the screws, I try to see, and I try that it's going in my side. Okay. Questions? I know you all know how to tune the bow, so well done. That's why you're archers.
What about the, just tell them also how far do we keep the fletching?
How much?
Many people have it should be 1 inches.
Fletching?
Yeah.
Okay, fletching is very easy. For recurve, compound is a different story. For recurve, as bigger you put it, at more stabilize, but more stop the arrow and more affect the wind. As smaller you put it, quicker it goes, but stabilize less. So this 2 3/4 is a standard one. Don't get too much big, except indoor. And too small is not stable. If you look, 95% of the archers use this size. Now, for me, spin weights still are the best weights for everyone. The problem is, they are how many years in the market? 98, 97? No, 88, 87. 88. So, it's very difficult for us to say, well, using something like 40 years old or 30 years old. So, there's new things coming. The advantage of this is the vein that is make the arrow fly better and more consistent. That's why it's still in the market. What is the disadvantage? That they get damaged very much. You should, you practice, and then when I was pro, every week I have to fletch. I hate fletching, but every week I have to do it. So, there are new veins. There are veins that are the same shape but more resistant. I test them, I don't feel a big advantage, even sometimes worse. So I use equipment that I feel more confident. There are veins that are plastic, flat. I use them for practice. When you want to train and not damage so much, you have some with the diamond from East or any one of the plastic tank, also small, and I should. But there's a moment I want to be sure that I am using the equipment I compete. So at the end, the last years I always use speedway. Buy more, fletch more, and use the speedway.
So I was saying about the distance. How distance?
On the back?
Yeah. Distance.
Whatever that you don't hit. As more back, more stabilized. But there's a moment that if it's like this and I shoot, I can hit it. So this distance is not very important, but you see I have the knock here, the long one, so I have like half centimeter. You can see the arrow later. Now the short knock. The knock is short here. I will keep this distance. Enough distance that the finger can go without touching. Remember, the string goes forward. But this knock has a long base, so you will see it very close to the knock. But the arrow is here, and the string is here, so enough space to use. Okay? Good. More question about equipment? That is basically it. Don't get so crazy. The arrows fly good. You have a good setup. It's about the archer. Any archer who is too much focused on equipment, get obsessed, they like the gadget, is not focused on himself.
So while the checking the center shore, so the arrow could be center of Holgado.
Could be center of the string or not. Depends when you tune it. In my case, normally it's over. With X10, many archers have the arrow just over the string. But when I go to AC, it's a little bit out, it's touching, the string is like that. When I shoot ACC, it's a bit more up. But with X10, it's just over the string. When it's inside, it's a problem. Yes, thank you.
Is there any role of the dealer difference?
Dealer, very good, excellent. Excellent you talk about this. Dealer is the difference between the distance from the upper to the lower. You see, now I have a negative dealer. I have more down than up. How is possible? That's my good tuning. Okay. This is the static tiller. The tiller on the bow, tiller in the bow recurve is like timing in compound. I want to make sure that the limb in the top work at the same time as the tiller in the bottom. That's a tiller. The dynamic tiller is important, not the static tiller. This is static. So I have 5-6 millimeters more down than up. How I adjust the tiller? Very easy. I go 70 meters. I take my bow. I pull, I aim at the 10. When I'm in the 10, I pull strong. When I pull strong and the side go down, this is too stiff. I do this. When I pull, I'm in position. I pull and the side go up. This is too stiff. So I adjust it in the tension to find out that I'm in the 10, and I pull, push strong, and it stays steady. Then the dynamic tiller is correct. There are some arches that when you pull strong, it's going down. You see the stabilizer going down. What happens when you are shooting? You pull, the side is going down. So you correct, you correct, you correct. So now some archers say, or some coaches say, yeah, but depend on the technique. Yes, of course, if you do like this. But of course, the coach has to take it correct. And I expand. And in expanding, sometimes it's going down, it's going up. That's why I adjusted. That's why this one is there, because in my way of shooting, in my finger, and all this, if I put the opposite and I pull, but the side is doing this. Okay, what you do is whoop, whoop, because this is too steep. Okay?
It's more to adjust the side at 70 meters rather than
Side.
we will keep it 3 to 5
When I push
meters.
strong, when I push strong, the ball has a tendency, this is steep, it's not flexing, so it's pulling the ball. This is flexing, but this no. So it's pulling it, stabilizing the side up. It's very easy to see.
What will be the beginner and intermediate archers? The difference would be.
We generally keep it between 3 to 5 millimeters.
But here and lower, the difference between them.
For beginners,
For beginners and intermediate archers.
advanced. Normally this has 5-6 millimeters less. The company will tell you that is less. You know what is less? Because we put 2 fingers below. We are bending it more. So that's why you take out power. This is the center of the bow, but we pull with 2 fingers more. So we are pulling this more, so you take out. That's why it's 5 millimeters or 6 or 1 centimeter less. But this is generic. The manufacturer doesn't know my hand, my grip, my shooting, my length. So we have to adapt the bow to us. Okay, so when the bronze medalist in Atlanta 96, the Belgian guy, he has 2 centimeter difference. He has 2 centimeters more up and down. 2 centimeters like this. We told them the ring is wrong. But they are always trying perfect. That was shooting really good. So don't get too obsessive. They say this is 22 and it's 22 and a half. And what? Swarovski was shooting with 21 and a half, very short. But for me, it's out of any logic. But he was shooting great at grouping and flying. So that's it. We don't need to fit to a standard. We need to make this work for us. Okay. More questions? Equipment? Yes.
Some archers have arrow pinching, sir. How can they?
Our pinching. Very easy. Tell them when to pinch.
Sir,
Yes.
First was you said it before starting the tuning. Fletch arrow is here, unfletch is here.
Yes.
Then this process.
Yes.
After that fine tuning, you said it in
Until
you
the
go
basic tuning.
your fletch is here, unfletch is here.
Yes.
Then same process.
No. I leave it like that. This is, remember, I basic tune
Then,
and I took
then-
out the tuning to make it work for me, but this is not the right tuning. That's the right tuning for me.
कहीं बाहर जाएंगे ना.
I don't try to make it together again. I stay there. Okay. I tune this to make a perfect twist.